What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. Hawk Talk on Melrose. Once again, back here talking a little Iowa football. It's not the best that we're seeing so far. You go back like a year ago right now, a little bit more positive, a 10-win season, even though it was kind of up and down last year. But yeah, this year it's kind of something that we haven't really had to face for a while. And here we are, 3-4. And got a lot to talk about today. What's going on, Tyler?
What's going on, C? Yeah. So obviously we didn't do a pod on Sunday of this week. Just obviously not a lot to talk about. I mean, it seems like it's the same old story. And I'm sure we'll dive a little bit into that game in today's episode and kind of obviously move on maybe a little to Northwestern. There's just not a lot to talk about. We're not on the same level as Ohio State.
There's a lot to talk about, but it's getting to the point where it's the same thing.
It's so repetitive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
it just gets kind of old.
Yeah, no, it's repetitive and it's the same. It's just obviously we talk about kind of like, recent events, recent comments that are made in the media.
Yeah.
Head coach, Brian, Kirk, all that. Guys like our own Bruce are talking this week. It's, so I'm sure we'll have lots to talk about. But yeah, the game last week, man. We watched it together. We went back home, made a good weekend out of it. That part of it, not so fun. You just knew. You just had that feeling it wasn't going to go great. And then the first play happened, and we were correct.
Yeah.
So.
and then it I guess even after that play, though, we start, that the defensive touchdown, we make it 7-3. That was, long lived, lasted about 2 minutes. But besides the interception, you couldn't ask for a better start, technically speaking.
No.
You started,
but that's nothing new.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Really
I guess
is.
So I want to start off with that. We'll talk a little bit about the Ohio State game. Obviously, it's been a few days now. It kind of move on. But I want to start off with this because it's like, what did we do in the bye week? Like, it's just the question that a lot of people have been asking, and it is so true. What did we do over the bye week? The only thing that I could think of is, Brian Ferentz coming out and saying, what's the upside of starting Padilla? Other than that, we didn't do what did we do? We didn't do anything. We looked exactly the same. And I get it. Bye weeks or any type of changes during the middle of the season, it's hard to do. You can't really do wholesale changes, but I'm talking like the small little things. I mean, you can change up some things. You have 2 weeks. Programs that are win now or programs that actually want to look like they actually want to win, they might fire they might fire a coordinator during the bye week. They might do changes here or there. They might change the quarterback. They might do this, they might do that. And we just looked exactly the same. It looked like we didn't do anything.
They have a set of scripted plays that are your best plays to jumpstart you for the game.
Yeah.
That clearly didn't happen. We roll a quarterback out to his left when he can't even throw normally and throws a pick at the beginning. So you're exactly right. What did we do? We did absolutely. I mean, there wasn't. I don't think I can recall a single play in that game, Com, where I'm like, that's something we noticed that Ohio State's not very good at, and we're attacking it, or we're trying this play out because it's something we haven't shown yet this year.
Yeah.
You're right. We're so vanilla. We're so boring on offense right now.
We're so inept. It's not even funny. And I get it. It's easier said than done because for some programs out there, let's say even programs, I mean, we're the worst offense in the country. So you have offenses ahead of us a little bit. So they're slightly better. For us, I get it. It comes down to O-line play. It comes down to quarterback play. It comes down to playmakers, not having Keegan's huge. So it's hard. I get it. It's hard to just, in 2 week span, try to, come up with all, but at least show something different. It was the same product. They acted like, okay, let's just do exactly the same thing that we've done the first 6 weeks. And let's just hope, send a prayer, hope that something changes. And then, you roll out Petrus, which, okay, whatever. It's, they love Petrus. I don't get it. And even after the horrific start, the interception, then he had that fumble. Then he had that other interception that led to a touchdown. It was a pick six. And he still came back out there. Now, they finally changed at halftime. But it was hilarious that it took until halftime to finally make the change. And it almost felt like, and we'll talk about that here soon, about the whole Padilla situation because I have kind of my thoughts on that as well. But yeah, just going back to the just absolutely nothing during the bye week. It's just crazy to me. I don't get it.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, we're so bad, so it's hard to put it on one person, one
Yep.
position group. Like you mentioned, I don't get it. Like I think there was a time it could have been the end of the first quarter stats, or it was really close. Spencer Petras was like 0 for 4 with zero passing yards, a pick and a fumble. Like I don't care if you're playing Alabama, you can complete a pass. I'm just sorry. You can do better than that. You can't tell me that there's not a play to get Arlen Bruce the ball, to get, oh my God, I'm blanking out. Tight end involved.
Laporta.
Like Laporta. You can't tell me you can't do a screen pass or something to get Caleb Johnson. The best players on your team, the ball. Maybe it's rocket science. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I don't know. But if they can't, then that's the issue, right? Then that's because of how like stale and like not good our offense is. Like they can't even get those guys the ball. So we've got way bigger problems than just a bad offense. Like it's the scheme. I'm convinced of it. It's the scheme.
It's 100%. It's a scheme. It's the O-line being really bad. It's the quarterback play. I wanted to share this. I don't know if I sent you this yesterday, but these are just some stats from the Ohio State game. Where is it at? Some of these just were insane. So we had 15 plays or 15 drives. Plays per drive, 3.9 is what we average. So that's literally like a 3 and out.
3 and out.
Almost on every, like 3.9. Three and punt percentage was 20%, which is a lot. Red zone plays 0. We weren't in the red zone one time. We had 6 turnovers versus the expected turnovers, which is 2.1. So we had 4 more than what was expected out of us. You're not going to win. You're not going to win on the road when you do that. This is the crazy part. You're going to literally laugh. So air yards per pass, 4.7. Percentage of passes, 20 plus, 0%.
I knew that.
We didn't throw the ball 20 plus yards one time against Ohio State, against a team where you got to kind of do that type of stuff to have a chance, and we didn't do it one time. And then
I was going to say really quick. I was going to say when I was thinking about it, I was like, did we do anything through the? I mean, literally nothing. So I that's actually not that surprising.
And 20 yards,
but it's so funny.
Even 20 yards really isn't like taking a shot. Like I feel like taking a shot's like a 35, 40.
35, yeah.
But
20
even,
is
it's not even
deep, that. A deep like like it's not even. It's a longer slant route. It's not. Yeah.
Number of passes at or behind the line of scrimmage, 17.4%.
What?
Yeah, 17.4% of our passes on Saturday were either at this line of scrimmage or behind. And one play I can recall, remember when we did that, like, we tried doing that screenplay to Laporta, a tight end screenplay that we tried against Illinois that didn't work. So we tried it against Ohio State.
Okay.
Didn't work.
Yep, I do remember that.
And then, there's something I've always talked about is tendencies. Like it's easy for the defensive coordinator because they know what's expected. So
let alone us is sitting and watching at home. Yeah. Yeah.
So run rate under center, 89%. So that pretty much tells you every time we're under center, almost 90% of the time we are running the football, 10% of the time we are passing. And then run rate in shotgun this game was 33%. So pretty much telling you 73% of the time, or 67% of the time we are passing. So that's a little bit better than it was because for a while it was like 80%. So that's gotten a little bit better. But that run rate under center, that's just bad. So pretty much so pretty much you're telling defensive coordinator, okay, anytime we're in shotgun, expect to pass. Every time we're under center, expect to run. So I just wanted
creativity.
No, it's terrible. And the fact that Brian Ferentz still has a job is laughable. And it is kind of sad at this point. Like it's honestly starting to become sad because we are the only program, and this is the reason why I love Kirk, but it just pisses me off because he's not going to fire his son. And so it's like, then don't even put him in that position anyways. Don't even put him in position as the offensive coordinator or as quarterbacks coach. And then the person I'm most mad at is Gary Barta, because the dude has.
Yeah, where's he at?
Where's
he been?
He doesn't care. I mean, he loves Kirk. I mean, he doesn't care. Every other. And this is I live in obviously Lincoln, and I don't like Nebraska, but I will say I love their AD. Trev Alberts is a stud, and he's done everything right so far. I mean, he's relatively new AD for them. I will bet money on it. If he was AD for Iowa, he would have changes by now. And I'm not just talking him. I mean, you're going across the country. We're the only program where the nepotism, right? It's just it doesn't make any sense to me. It's rather frustrating and annoying. And Kirk, man, I'm telling you, there's been a few times since I can remember that we're going in the offseason. This offseason, it's kind of do or die. Next offseason. I mean, go back to 2012, we were 4-8. Kind of felt like that too. We kind of turned it around. 2014, kind of the same thing where, going into 2015, and granted 2015 we ended up going undefeated, but 2014 we didn't have a good season. There was a lot of quarterback troubles. We got blown out in the bowl game. It was just many years. I mean, since 2014, it was like the last 4 or 5 years just weren't very good. We weren't winning bowl games, and a lot of questions with Kirk. And he kind of turned around there. Now this year I think is bigger than both of those years because you have the transfer portal now that is bigger than ever. And I think he created this mess. You go from last year, he thought, hey, we won 10 games. Great. But he clearly knew, and the entire coaching staff knew that offense last year was not good. And if we don't make big wholesale changes, it's going to be the same offense. But he doubled down because we won 10 games. So he knew, okay, well, let's just keep it, and we'll probably do what we did last year. Well, no, it doesn't always work that way. And it kind of bit himself in the butt, and now he just won't admit it. He should have made changes last year in the offseason, but instead they made simple changes, right? Like, we're simplifying the offense. We're doing this instead of really looking at the problem. Be like, no, it's everything. We gotta bring in a new offensive coordinator. We gotta look at the transfer portal. Maybe get some offensive linemen. Maybe get some quarterbacks. Maybe try to go out and get a skill position player. Change up this whole thing, but no. Instead, Kirk doubled down and kept everything the same besides simplifying the offense. And this is what we got. And so he created the mess. So you better do something about it this offseason, else like I said, this is a do or die offseason for Iowa football, for the program, because if everything is the same next year, expect the next 5 years, 10 years to be not good for Iowa football, because like I said, you're going to lose a lot of players in the transfer portal. A lot of players aren't going to come here. Like, I'm surprised Caden Proctor's still coming to Iowa. Like, I'm surprised he hasn't, decommitted. Yeah. And I hope he doesn't, but I'm just saying, I'm just surprised. I mean,
I know.
But yeah, this is a do or die offseason for Iowa football. And Kirk better fix it, because for me, he's on a short leash. I mean, I love Kirk, but these last few weeks, yesterday he got in it with, talking about, a reporter said wrote one article, and he's pretty much acting like he's above him, saying, wish, I'm glad I'm not in his shoes, or something like along those lines. And it's like, really? Like, I know he probably didn't mean it that way, but it's just things like that. It's like he takes a little criticism and he gets all, pissed about it. And I don't know. Just annoying.
You get all the praise, glory, and adulation when you win, and rightfully so.
Yep.
You also get your share of the blame when things don't go your way either, and when you're not winning. When you're winning, you get the credit. When you're losing, you also have to take some of the credit. And I think you're right. What did he say again? It was just basically like, I'm glad I wasn't in your shoes writing that article.
Yeah, and it
was making it sound like he was being a terrible person for doing that.
It was about a guy that writes out of Cleveland. He was Ohio State, and he had this article, and I read the article. It was just pretty much saying that, and that's the thing. Like, what I like about this article, he wasn't from Iowa, so so it's an unbiased opinion. He really laid it out there, and Ferentz pretty much probably read it or heard about it and was pissed about it. And he kind of just, he said some things yesterday at the press conference, and Yeah, it's like, well, Kirk,
Well,
you created
yeah,
this mess,
yeah.
and you got to,
Take responsibility.
yeah, and
My
figure it
my
out.
question is, Colin, if Brian wasn't the offensive coordinator, not only that, but not his son, would we have a new offensive coordinator this year? Or would it be the same thing because it's his philosophy to keep?
See, I don't know because that was something David asked him, and he was like, I don't do that midseason. I never have. And then I think that was after the Ohio State game because then he added about how it's been
Yeah,
pretty
we also
settled
never
for
been
24
this
years.
bad.
Yeah,
Well, right, it's worked, but not.
and
You're not.
that's what's annoying with Kirk is how he keeps kind of going back like last year. Oh, we won 10 games, or
Yeah,
I've had we've been successful 24 years. Great, that's great. It's like me,
can't take
like
that away from you.
yeah,
Right,
it's
right.
like
It's in the past.
for me, it's like, oh, I had a great my first 3 years as a sales rep, but this year I'm just gonna suck at it and be like, oh, well, I
Yeah,
did good the first 3 years. How's that gonna? No, that's not gonna work.
right.
So
No,
you
no,
can't just look back. I mean, you got to keep going ahead and just because you did good in the past, you still got to do good now. We still expect
yeah.
results.
And the reason, I'll go back to this. The reason that we're so frustrated is because we know how good this team could be
with the defense.
With our defense that we have, combine that with the special teams. I'm telling you, we would be a very, very good team, a very tough out.
Yeah,
especially in the Big Ten West. And I think that's what's so frustrating. It's not like we're some terrible team that has been terrible for 10 years and it's like now all of a sudden we're getting upset about it. We're not the Kansas of old where it's like, oh, expect them to be bad again.
Yeah.
Like we had expectations, right? We just made it to the Big Ten championship with a poor offense. Like we were saying in the offseason, imagine if our offense was better. It'll be even better this year.
Yeah, because I think the defense is better than it was last year. I think
you can make the argument, dude.
Yeah.
What is it? The first 4 possessions we gave Ohio State the ball inside the 35, or they were in the 30, and they literally held them to a field goal.
Yeah, every time.
That is something that is insane to me.
What was the score going into half?
It was like, was it like?
I want to say it was like 26 to. Here, I'm gonna look.
Can't remember.
I'm gonna look quick.
I don't know if it was 26.
Yeah, it was 26 to 10.
Oh,
but remember, they had the pick 6 from Petrus, so it was really like 19 to 10. So like, think about I had someone actually literally today and he wasn't giving me shit, but he was just like, oh, what happened? I thought your defense was good, and it's like, did you watch the game? He's like, well, I watched a little bit of it. I'm like, well, if you watched the entire game, you would know that. Yeah, we did give up 54 points, but it was not because of our defense. I mean, yes, in the second half, they were scoring like on every possession, but at that point in time, the game was over. Offense was doing shit for us, getting 3 and outs. They were on the field like the entire time. Like, no wonder.
Well, you said we had 6 turnovers. What do you mean? Like, you can't. You're
not going to be able to do it. So, if we had a somewhat good offense, dude, like we might have won that game on Saturday. Like that's just a crazy part. Like our defense played
it's close.
So like it would have been a fourth quarter game. I truthfully think that because if we had a semi decent offense and a good quarterback, you take away that pick 6, you take away maybe the first that interception at the beginning. So so you take away those, they only have 16 points. And if we had somewhat good of an offense, it might be tied at half, or it might.
We have an offensive touchdown, and we're right in it. Yeah. No, it's insane, dude. I mean,
it's a fourth quarter game if we have a good offense.
Yes, and
that's what's annoying.
And it's what's so frustrating about this team that, and then like I said, it's after the game, it's the same old story with this like what's coming out of the mouths of these coaches. It's like really just nothing. Yeah. And like you said, this is a chance for the bye week. But Collin, what did I say in the podcast last week? What did we do post bye week last year against Wisconsin? Absolutely nothing. And we continue to do that. Yeah. So this, like you said, this isn't a common.
No,
this isn't a 1-year thing. This is a common theme.
And we should expect that because look at Ferentz in the offseason. He didn't do anything in the offseason. He had 7 months, 8 months to figure some shit out.
I hate bye weeks for Iowa. We literally don't do jack shit.
We don't.
Like literally.
We don't.
We're just like, might as well rest and get healthy, which we're still like not healthy. So it's like, I don't know.
That's the 2 things during a bye week that you have a chance. Number 1, get healthy. That's the biggest thing. And then number 2, things aren't. If you got to fix some things, right? Even the good teams, there's always something that you need to fix. And that's a great opportunity to do that. And Yeah, we
Or
didn't.
exploit. You have 2 weeks to prepare to exploit Ohio State's weaknesses, and we didn't see a single thing that like we did differently. But
it's
I'm
annoying.
just preaching to the choir at this point. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to talk a little Petrus Padilla now too. So we all know what happened to Petrus. I thought, the more I think about it, I thought it was kind of bullshit. They had all year to put in Padilla. You could make the case every single game. You could go back to the first game, South Dakota State. The way that game, the first half, how bad Petrus was playing, like he was overshooting guys. Remember that screen where he missed that screen? You could have made the case that Padilla should have came in the second half of that game. You definitely could have made the case the Iowa State game because we already saw the sample of the South Dakota State game. Then you saw the first half of the Iowa State game, and you could be in like, yeah, I think Padilla deserves a shot in the second half. No. Literally every game this year,
every game,
even the Michigan game, we had 0 points going in the fourth quarter. So
what did they do at this game, Collin?
They finally waited until the second half against probably the best team in the country.
Yep.
And they expect him down already. What, like 20?
They're smart.
And
telling you that was planned, dude.
And
why would they put him in against South Dakota State? He'll do good, right? Then there'll be a controversy, or Nevada.
Yeah.
No, they do it against Ohio State to be like, see, Petrus is better. It's like, give me a break.
Yeah, and then the fact that
I don't want to cut you off, but
no, you're good. The fact that now we're going into the next game, and it's still like a competition. No, give Padilla a full game.
Full week of reps, first team reps. Give him all the practice. Exactly.
You can't just give him two.
Give him Northwestern. That's the only fair way to do it.
Yeah.
I'm just,
you can't just bring him in the second half just because we're down and Petrus is sucking ass, just like every other game this year. Here's the thing. And I keep saying this, I love Petrus as a person, but man, he is not a good quarterback. It's as simple as that. Like, it's just, even his confidence, he has no, he's done. Like, he should not play the rest of the year.
Right.
He should go on with whatever career he's doing, or if he wants to continue playing football, then fine. Go transfer to, no FBS school is going to want him. Maybe an FCS school. I don't know, but it's up. It's time. It's just one of those things. Someone texted me yesterday, is it going to be Padilla, Petrus? And I texted back and I said, to be completely honest with you, I wish it was neither of them because both of them aren't very good. I wish it was Labus because come next year, and we could go back. I'll be like, remember that podcast when I was saying next August when we're sitting here like, God, we have no quarterback with any experience. Well, fuck. This year is a great year. The season's pretty much washed at this point. Great year to just start maybe playing Labus or Carson May or someone that you think is going to be the starter next year, because coming next year, we're going to have no experience and we're going to be right back at, no wonder we never have good quarterbacks. And the thing I think about it is if Labus is really not ready, then that's on you. That's on the coaching. Like the fact that when Ferentz said that last week about how Labus isn't there yet, it's like, well, that's on you then, because he's been in the program for 2 years. He should be ready. It's either your offense is that fucking bad and it's that hard to learn, which it shouldn't be, or you're a terrible coach and you can't develop him right. And the recruiting for the quarterback play has been terrible too. Like, where are you guys? Clearly, Petrus is a 4-star, but you go look at his offers. You see some of these guys. It's like, what our recruiting is terrible, and then the development is even worse. So,
and again, it looks like Petrus took a step back this year, honestly, and I wonder why. There's a common theme, Collin. It's called Brian Ferentz, quarterback coach, offensive coordinator. I feel like he's the common denominator, and I'm sorry, because Petrus he wasn't this bad when he first started. He just wasn't. He wasn't great, but
so he wasn't good at all. But I think what kind of helped him his first year was, number one, the offensive line was way better in the 2020. But also, we actually had some good receivers that year. Mir Smith-Marset, Brand Smith, Nico Reganey, Tyrone Tracy. He had some playmakers, but he was still not very good. 2020, he was, but that was his first year. So, we gave him a pass. Then last year it was bad. And this year it's, like I said, even worse. And so, yeah, I would want Labus, but obviously it's not going to be that. So, yeah, I want Padilla just because you can't just start him in the second half and be like, okay, we're going back to Petrus now. No, that's not how it works. You better give him a shot. And then
I agree.
The last thing I want to say too is I didn't realize this until I saw people on Twitter talking about it. And then they even said like Ferentz mentioned it, but I didn't realize that like Petrus in practice goes up against the second team defense. And it's like, no wonder he looks better in practice that he's going up against a second team defense. Like,
well, I'm still convinced he doesn't look that great in practice. And this is all just talk because this guy is so bad, but you make an excellent point. Well, and it's so true. It's like you're playing against players that don't start. So what are we talking about here?
We obviously don't know what's going on in practice. But there's one day a year where we kind of know. It's when the Big Ten crew goes to fall camp and they go to one practice. And I remember seeing tweets about like them talking about how the passing game still doesn't look very good. And that's when I was like, oh boy, I'm kind of worried about all that. And then I remember like one of the guys did a video of Petrus throwing a ball.
Yeah.
And it got way behind the guy, got way intercepted because there was some pressure. Cooper DeJean came in blitz. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm hoping that that's just like I don't know. Like, yeah. But like looking back, it's like, no, that's just Petrus. That's who he is. So not good.
Yeah, I guess next year, Collin, I'm not going to believe everything I hear in the offseason. I'm really not. Because I think I was a little brainwashed this offseason.
Yeah, I was too. I really thought, I mean, you go back and listen to our first couple podcasts.
Yeah.
We were pretty optimistic.
We were optimistic.
Like,
we were
hoping that, things were going to change, and we believed it. And I really thought, I'm like, there's just no way we're going to look back at that bad 2 years in a row. Like, they're going to make changes, and little do we know. And then, like, listening to Brian Ferentz's interview at the beginning of the year, like, he sounded smart. He sounded like,
I think he's a smart guy, but what we're doing right now, and maybe like you said, I blame all this on Brian, but like you said, this is Kirk's offense. So maybe he's still limited. I mean, he just can't call his own dad out, right? Maybe, it's like we always want Kirk to call Brian out. Maybe part of it's the other way around. Maybe Brian's like, I can't call my dad out. This is his offense.
And I agree. And I think it is Ferentz's offense, but it's just like the little things though. Brian is just not a good player. Oh. You look at like some of the stuff that he calls, it's just go back to Illinois game, right? Even though it's just head scratching. It's like, why are we doing this in this situation? Or why, like, for example, that first play of the game, why are we rolling Petrus out to the left?
There's no excuse for it. You're right. It's absolutely. And like you said, the predictability when we're under center, we're running. It's like, that's on him. Kirk isn't saying when you're under center, run it 80% of the time. Like, that's on Brian. So, I mean, if we know the numbers, he knows the numbers. And like you said, I don't know how he still has a job. He's really bad at it. Like, you've been bad at it. It's your son. So, or your dad's the head coach. So that's why. So, I mean, that's really the only explanation.
As we move into the great game this weekend, Northwestern, the first time since I started going to Iowa games, I don't know, 2007, 2008.
Oh, we're going to call it out of the pod here.
Intentionally. Now, last year I didn't go to a home game because I was with people that had COVID. And this was still at the time when like COVID was still kind of like, if you're with people that had it, you better, quarantine for a few days or whatever. Now it's just one of those things where if you don't feel fine, you do it. But so I didn't go to a game last year because of that. I was with 9 people that had COVID. But this year, I'm intentionally not going. This is the first time ever not going to the game. And it's not because it's like I don't, like, oh, I'm protest. I don't, like this team.
Right.
I just don't think it's worth my time. 5 hours a drive. And it's for me, it's almost an entire weekend because I have to leave the day before, or 5-hour drive to watch that product, to watch, because at the end of the day, football's entertainment. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to spend money driving there and having to spend the night, at, some, buddy's house in Des Moines and having to go through all that to watch a more than likely 13-7, 10-3 game. Like, it's just, that's what it's going to be. I have not, and this is so sad, all the games this year, I have not had fun at one home game yet. And I know there's only been, 4? But I have not had fun at one. I mean, there has not. I mean, there's been a couple good defensive, plays, but in it all, I have not had fun. There's been nothing fun about them. It's terrible, and it's like it's the same thing. Like it's like going to, I'm not like if I want to go to a movie or something, and I see the reviews are like 10%, or I'm not going to go to it. Like no, like I'm not going to sit through that for 2 hours.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm not going to drive that that far for that, and you already know that you. Like who was it today? Someone was saying something to me today, like, oh, they'll eventually figure. It's like, no, they've had 6 games. It's not just gonna switch like that. It's not just the light switch isn't just gonna flip on. No, it's gonna be another. And I hope I'm wrong. I mean, maybe, but more than likely, it's gonna be another boring ass game.
Well, Collin, I have an hour and a half drive, and I'm not making the trip. So obviously you decided that you weren't going. And, obviously I go to games. When I go to games, I go with you. Obviously if your brother Colby isn't going. So no, I wouldn't have gone regardless. I really don't think. It's just not worth my time right now, especially for a game like this. Like you said, entertainment wise, you're having 2 of the worst teams in the Big Ten go up against each other.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. That's kind of what I'm going to say about Iowa. We're not good, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. So it's going to be one of the worst matchups. Colin, what's the over-under? 31 and a half?
No, it's up to 37.
Oh, it's up to 37.
Yeah, that it started out at that, but it quickly went up. So it's at like 37, which is still like one of the lowest. Lowest.
When it opened at 31 and a half, right?
Yes, it did. For like
that
very
insane. Colin, you do realize I saw a stat. It opened. So, okay, 37. You go back to like the scores of these games. We've hit the under like all of them besides Ohio State.
Yeah.
But like that, you're right. It's like, why am I going to watch this? And if we do somehow do great and it all looks great and it changes, it's Northwestern. I don't take too much into account when I say that we're playing Northwestern right now. They're a bad football team too. So
they are
that, and you're right. Just go watch Petrus start this week and look great. I could see that legitimately. I could see him having a pretty good game. And then it's like, oh, give me a break. Here we go again.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think it's Padilla's job this week. I'm not saying it. He should be decent. It's Northwestern, but with this offense, you just don't know. It doesn't matter who's in there. And like you said, you give Petrus or you give Padilla the fair chance this week, and you go with him. And if he does poorly in the first half against Northwestern, then okay, maybe you have an argument. But I think you give him a game. I really do. I think you give him a game, play it out, see how he is, evaluate him after, and move on. What could be worse? What's the upside? Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like we always used to say.
Yeah, I don't know. I just the spread. This is the first. I don't usually bet against Iowa, and this is one of the first times I actually took Northwestern plus 11, and mainly just because you look at the series against Northwestern, they always keep it close against us. I mean, most time. I mean, the hell they win. I mean, just in the last 7 games, they've won 4 out of 3. But even the margin of victory, both Iowa winning or Northwestern, it's been like 7.3 points was the average margin of victory. The only one that was like more was 2019. I think we won 20-0, but outside of that, it's been very close every year. Northwestern too, they're 1-6, but they're at least competing against some of these teams. I mean, they almost beat Maryland on the road last week. They only lost like 17-7 against Penn State on the road. Like they're at least like, they're competing. So it's just like, what makes me think that our offense is going to be, unless we get some defensive touchdowns, which could very well happen, but you can't always think that's going to happen. So let's just say that doesn't happen. How is our offense going to be able to beat them by more than 11 points? Like it's probably not going to happen.
No.
And so, I guess I'll just do my prediction right now. I think the final score, I really think we should win. If we lose this game, man, we're probably not going to win. We're not going to win another game this year.
No, 100%. I think this is the only other game we have a chance of really winning.
Yeah. I'm going to go 13-6. I say we score at least 1 touchdown just because Northwestern's that bad. And we kick a couple field goals. I don't see Northwestern scoring. Like, I don't see them scoring a touchdown. Our defense, I just don't see their offense putting up points. But I guess at the end of the day, though, it just seems like Pat Fitzgerald just always has the best game plan against Iowa. It just, for some reason, it always seems like that. So maybe they do score a touchdown. But 13-6 is what I have. And yeah, I'm taking Northwestern plus 11 and taking the under.
I've got Iowa winning 13-10 because I am predicting a turnover from Iowa to give Northwestern life
Like
and
a
to be in this
touchdown or
ball
something.
game.
Yeah.
Yes. Either a fumble, a interception,
Yep.
where they score off of it, or they get it in really good field position, puts our defense in a really bad spot, and still tough to score against us. If even if it isn't turn it over and now they're in Iowa's red zone, I still give them a chance to score. So I'm going to say it's 13-10. I feel like they'll find a way to score a touchdown. The defense
Somehow,
is
some
out
way,
there.
maybe at the
Well,
end
then
or
the
something.
defense is out there for so long.
Yeah,
It's
that's
so
true.
hard, like to not be like, especially late in the season, like or on the back half of the season. It's like, and the amount that they played already, it's insane. And it's like, I'm not going to fault them for giving up a
One
touchdown.
touchdown. Yeah.
So I'll say 13, and I am scared of that number. I don't know if we can get to 13. I'm just going to say that Northwestern's defense is so bad that, and I'm going to say, I hope that Padilla starts, that gets like I said, a full week of practice, home game, more confident than what we threw him into last week. I say he performs a little bit better, or Petrus, I would hope, but I'm going to go 13-10. Sorry,
Yeah.
I rambled there, but
I'm curious to see what the stadium's going to look like on Saturday. If
that's a good point.
there's a lot of people are just saying like me.
Well, that's
saying,
what we're doing, right? Yeah. They
Now
don't.
here's the thing,
yeah.
Well, I just want to say, I don't I'm still gonna watch the game. I'm still gonna wake up Saturday
yes.
Looking forward to the Iowa game. It's not like I'm just being a fair weather fan. Well, I guess you could maybe call it that, but it's just me just saying it's just not worth my time nor my money to drive over to Iowa City.
It is.
To watch this product until I see some changes. And I'll go to the last two games. I don't really want to go to the last two, but I will, the Wisconsin-Nebraska game. I really wish
they're better matchups, but
yeah, I really wish I could just say no, I'm not going to go until I see some changes. But yeah, for this game exactly. I mean, Northwestern, terrible team. It's not worth my time to drive over there and watch. More than likely, unless something changes, and that's the thing. That's what's going to piss me off. If our offense does look better this week, it's like, where did this come from, right? So I guess I'm going to be pissed either way.
Like I said, I partly blame that on Northwestern. They're not good. And you're right, but you're right. If we see Padilla, oh dude, again, I'm like, you watch Padilla come out and start, and he just lights it up, and you will. I don't think the coaching staff wants that. I mean, I know that's cynical. I know they, on paper, yes, we want to win the game, we want to win by a lot, no matter who's out there. It's it's about the team, but I think their own pride would be like, you ask them on a lie detector test, you'd be like, I want him to do terrible so we can put Petrus out there and we'll win the game with Petrus and then see, we were right. So get off my back. And it's like, dude, stop.
So we desperately need this win though, because if we want a shot at a bowl game at this point,
we're talking bowl game.
And even if we get to 6-6, I mean, you're talking like the Quick Lane Bowl in Detroit, not going to be a very good bowl game. But if you want to make it to bowl game, and that's the thing, you always want to make a bowl game because you get extra practices and stuff like that. But you got to win this game because I just don't see many other wins. We're not beating Purdue on the road. I know Purdue looked like crap last week, but they're going to put up 20-ish points against us, and I just don't see us being able to, win in a track meet against them.
Charlie Jones homecoming, I'm calling it.
Wisconsin.
Well over 100 yards in that touchdown.
Yep, just like David Bell the last couple of years against Iowa. Wisconsin looked freaking good this week against Purdue. I know they're kind of up and down, but it's like, they
still have our number.
Yeah, if they play like they did against Purdue, we're not beating them.
No,
if they play like they did against Michigan State, maybe. And then you play on the road at Minnesota, man. They are a team right now. I would not, PJ Fleck, what the hell? You go from looking so good to losing 3 games in a row and getting blown out at Penn State. I think
you mentioned that too. He's been known for that kind of, right?
Yeah,
hot start and then.
So now that game doesn't look as but it's still on the road, and it's a game that they want because they haven't beat us since 2014.
That they'll be like, this is our best chance.
Yep.
Right. Same with Nebraska.
Yep. And then Nebraska, man, like their offense is looking pretty good. I mean, so they're going to put up points against us. Now their defense sucks, but our offense sucks too. So it's like it kind of cancels each other out. And that's another game where it's like they haven't beat us since 2014. That might be a bowl game for them as well because they might be 5-6. It might be the battle of who goes to the bowl game. Like literally, that might be the game. But
I'm convinced, dude. I'm convinced you don't have to have a good defense to stop Iowa's offense either. I'm at that point, dude. You know the recipe.
Yep.
Stop the run, blitz everybody, and pressure the quarterback, and you're gonna probably do good on defense.
Here's the thing: Nebraska last year didn't have a good didn't really. I mean, their defense this year is probably worse than last year, but their defense wasn't that great last year. And if you don't recall, we had like 6 points going in like the fourth quarter, and then that finally, we had that punt return or that punt blocked, touchdown. So like that helped, but I mean, our offense is going to do crap. So yeah, it's one of those things where it just doesn't really matter. So yeah, this game's huge. Like if you lose this game, we're not making the bowl game. Now, if we win, we're at 4 wins. Can we get 2 more? I think it's possible.
A chance.
You got to, like I said, probably win your remaining home games, maybe if that's Wisconsin, Nebraska, or maybe getting that win on the road at either Purdue or Minnesota. I don't know. It's going to be tough, though. It's going to be really tough.
Yeah. This game will, again, the one thing I will say is, we're not going to it because it's a boring game, but like you said, there's bowl game implications on this game.
Yeah.
It's a big game for the team.
It is a big game. Nope. And yeah, like I think, what did you end up having Iowa going this year? I had them 4. Going. So they have to win out. And for me, I went 9-3.
Well, yeah. And I mean, we didn't see this, Collin. I don't think anyone in the country saw this.
No. And that's like from my prediction, like 9-3, that was with me thinking that our offense was going to be somewhat decent or at least better. If you think about it, we'd be staying right now at probably like 5-6-1, maybe only having 1 loss.
If our offense is good, if our offense is a lot better than it was last year, your prediction is more accurate than mine right now.
Yeah.
Because think about it, Wisconsin's down. Minnesota that was doing
they're all down.
Like they're all down.
Sucks.
Correct.
The only two losses that would for sure would be Ohio State and maybe Michigan. But once again, Michigan, we held them to 20 points until the 4 minutes left. So
right, and with our bad offense, we were still in it in the fourth quarter, like technically, like
yeah. So
it's no, I know. It's you're right. Your 9-3 prediction was based off the fact that, like we said, we were going to be a little bit better to quite a bit better on offensively than last year. We didn't think it was that difficult. Well, we were wrong. It's 10 times worse. So
yeah,
but correct.
And then let's just finish off this podcast talking some other games that are going on this weekend. Penn State, Ohio State, man, big noon kickoff is killing these atmospheres. That would have been a night game. Wide out.
Oh, I know, dude.
And it's at 11. God, it's kind of annoying. Like I love big noon kickoff because I love the announcers and stuff, but I hate it for this. It's killing some of these games that should be at night. I mean, you can make the case even 2 weeks ago, Penn State at Michigan. That should have been a night game. Like what are we doing here?
Well,
11 a.m.
Do they have a contract with the Big 12? Because this year it does not seem like they do. I remember them doing a lot of Big 12 games.
No, the only Big 12 game that they've done so far is Tennessee, or no, not Tennessee. Texas and Alabama. I think they went to.
I know. But I'm like, do they not do Big 12 anymore?
I don't know. And that's why I'm excited for this new contract because we're going to have obviously the 11 a.m. The 3 big networks will have the 11 a.m. Fox, 2:30 CBS, night game NBC. So like this game might be like the night game on NBC,
right?
Or maybe the CBS game at 2:30. Like I'm tired of like all these Big 10 big games are on 11 a.m. It's just stupid. It's even like going to Iowa Michigan game like that should have been a night game in Kinnick. Correct. I mean, goddamn, we didn't have any night games last year. Then we have one this year, and it's against Nevada. Like, what are we doing here?
And it ended up fucking being horrible weather. So.
Yeah, it was terrible. So it sucked. So, yeah, so that game's going on. I fully expect, obviously, Ohio State to win. I think if it was a night game at Penn State, the atmosphere, I mean, that would pose a little bit of a challenge. But I just don't think Penn State, even though they won 45-17 against Minnesota, you saw what they did against Michigan. They're a good team, but they're not great.
They're not elite.
Yeah, and so I don't see
Yep.
Ohio State having a problem against them.
Either.
Michigan State play now. It's kind of funny, like that game. No matter how good or bad either team is, more times you could say maybe Michigan State. It's always like a good game and a close game, and I'm glad that game's at night. So that's an ABC game, so I'll be with Kirk Street. So that'll be a good game actually, and I fully expect that game to be good. Like it's just one of those things where
where's that at?
It's at Michigan this year. But
Michigan,
you go back to like last year, like
that was a hell of a game, dude.
Yeah. So I could see that game being pretty close.
Kenneth Walker just going off. I remember that game.
Yep. What are some other games? Illinois, Nebraska. That's kind of it's so crazy. Nebraska wins this game. They are like in sole possession of, or they're in like first place in the Big Ten West.
I know.
If they win that game,
it's so wide open.
Yeah,
it's so wide open. And Illinois probably. Did they have a bye week last week?
Yep, they had a bye week.
So if they win this week, they're sitting pretty good.
Yeah, I'm curious to. Yeah, no, they are. They're probably going to win the West. I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
But I'm curious to see how this game kind of plays out because, like I said, Nebraska's offense is really turning it on now.
Well, they have the leading receiver in the nation at receiving yards or something like that.
Trey Palmer, he's a stud.
Trey Palmer, he's very good. Great transfer.
So this will be a tough game on the road for Illinois, and I'm curious to kind of see how that game plays out. What other games are there this week? You had the Georgia-Florida game, but Florida is not very good this year. I mean, that game would be good if Florida was good. Yeah. Minnesota needs to win this week. They play at home against Rutgers. Iowa State, this is a big game for them as well. If I was Iowa State, I'd be kind of pissed because this should not be an 11 a.m. game against Oklahoma, but it is. But Iowa State, losing a lot of close games, they need to get this win. And I know we talk about Iowa State a decent amount on here, just because I know I have some people that listen to this that are Iowa State fans. But man, like you look at their losses this year. I mean, you're talking 7 points to Baylor, 3 points to Kansas, 1 point to Kansas State, and 3 points to Texas. Yeah. Like they are so close to being. What would they be like right now? 7-0.
I know, dude. It's crazy. At least
like maybe 6-1.
In a couple of those games, I feel like you could argue the refs kind of fucked them over a little bit, and
yeah,
there's an argument to be made that they should have won a game or two in there too.
So they're 3-4 right now, and I know I was listening to Chris Williams, Chris Hassel. They were talking like, can this team get to 6 wins to make it to bowl game? And you got to win this week because like you look at like their schedule. After this week, they play at home against West Virginia, at Oklahoma State, versus Texas Tech, which Texas Tech's actually not bad, and then at TCU. So like that Oklahoma State TCU game, you could probably chalk those up as losses more than likely. They're both on the road. So you got to win your remaining home games pretty much.
Yeah.
And can they do that? Now, I will say this, like Iowa State did look a lot better against Texas. So, and
I always feel like that game's close though.
It is.
I don't know. They seem to have Texas's number a little bit.
That and the reason why I actually betted that game, I bet Iowa State 15.5, and I felt pretty confident because you almost felt like that was going to be like a hangover game for Texas. 11 a.m. game. You just got done with blowing out Oklahoma, that big, Red River rivalry. And then and next week you have to go on the road at Oklahoma State. So it almost just felt like a sandwich game where and sure enough, I mean, that's exactly what happened. They just didn't look very good. Give credit. I would say their defense is really good, but I'm curious to see if they're going to do things different than Iowa and actually use their bye week because they had a bye week after Texas. See any changes because you can make the case that their offense, has not looked very good. Now against Texas was a little bit better. So I'm curious to see are they going to make any changes? Are they actually going to be smart and do some things different other than, like Iowa not doing anything. So, but Oklahoma, that's a winnable game. The next 2 games are winnable for them. Get back on track, become 5-4.
Yeah.
And with their defense, I mean, it's just like Iowa. You're going to be in a lot of close games because of your defense.
And in the conference that they're in, I think.
And with Iowa State, like their offense is way better than Iowa. So yeah, if you have a good defense, you're going to be in a lot of close games. And like Oklahoma State, tough game, but might be you should be in it. So
Sure.
To get to 6 wins, I mean, just like Iowa, it's gonna be challenging. It's gonna be weird, dude. Like if both Iowa schools don't make it to a bowl game, like it's just crazy.
It's a weird concept to wrap my brain around.
I will say, like for Iowa State, though, I mean, going into this year, you lose everyone from last year. I wouldn't say it was expected. You probably expect to make a bowl game. You're to the point now under Matt Campbell. He's built such a decent program that your expectations should be a bowl game. For Iowa, it's much worse so because our expectations going this year was like win the Big Ten West, make it back to the Big Ten championship game. Try to, I saw some
right the wrong,
some articles. Iowa might go to the Orange Bowl this year, right, and all this, and we're sitting here at 3-4, and we might not even make it a bowl game, and might not be the end of the world. Might be a blessing in disguise if that happens because some things will change. But yeah, I guess that's everything for this podcast. I will say this too. I don't think I mentioned this on the last podcast. I don't want Ferentz really fired. I don't. Like I like Ferentz. I have like love-hate. But I will say this, like I'm tired of like Iowa fans thinking that if we lost Ferentz that we would be doomed. And I just don't think that. I just do not think that we would be fucked. I think Iowa has built, and credit to Ferentz. I mean, built a great program. You're in a nice college town, Iowa City. You're very loyal fan base, nice stadium. It's going to sell out, right? Or you're going to like pretty much the fans are very loyal. You play in the Big Ten. There's a lot of money. Like it's not a bad program. You would be able to find a decent coach.
Yes.
So
I agree. I agree with that sentiment, Collin. I think there's too many of us that I've only known about Kirk, our whole life really as being an Iowa fan. And there hasn't been a lot of Iowa football coaches, there's just so many tenured coaches. I mean, Hayden Fry now, Kirk Ferentz, and it's, we sit there and wonder like how, it'll be bad because it's not that I agree. You got to leave it in a good place though. Don't want to, and that's the issue I think we're having right now is I just hope that it isn't left in a bad place and isn't in a bad place for the foreseeable future. Because even for next year, like we talk about, right? We don't want to be the same team. And that starts with actual change. And so if, like you said, if we go in this game alone, like Northwestern, and we line up and we do what we do and we end up losing a game like this, it's gonna be bad. So
someone asked me today, would you take this offseason if I told you get rid of Ferentz and you would get Brett Bielema, would you take it? Brett Bielema obviously played at Iowa. Would you take that? And I was thinking, my God, it's a tough question, but I'm like, honestly, probably, because Brett Bielema, like, you see what he's doing at Illinois. I know he didn't have a great stunt at Arkansas, but that's also the SEC. What he did at Wisconsin, now what he's doing at Illinois, the guy gets it. And I'm not saying Ferentz doesn't get it, but you could tell that, you watch.
He's an offensive minded guy, right?
Yeah. And, he's just like, with power football, but it's more modern. And what he's doing at Illinois is pretty remarkable. Yep. Illinois was a dog shit program. And so he asked me that. I'm like, honestly, if you told me that, we would get him 100%, like, I would probably do it. Like, I hate it saying that, but it's like, I would probably do it.
Well, and you're at the point of like how much, like we all don't know how much longer Kirk's going to coach. So if you're telling me, we can get someone like Brett Bielema for a long time, like it's hard to say no to that just because you're not just thinking about 1 year. You're thinking about 10, 15, 20 years.
Yep.
I mean,
well,
thinking long term.
Brett Bielema was 52. So like if we got him, let's just say, that would be a solid, you'd have him for at least a solid decade. So with Ferentz, he's getting older. One last thing too. One last thing. How stupid was it for Barta to extend Kirk Ferentz's contract till 2029? He wasn't going anywhere anyways. It's not like he was going anywhere.
I forgot about that.
Why do that? Like, just why would you extend it that long? I mean, you only do that when you don't want to get rid of a coach. Like when
that's the ultimate job security. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, why would he do that? Because now we are stuck $42 million.
That is a reputation. That is a living in the past type of contract. That is what you've done for us in the past type of contract.
Yeah. And let's just say this. I hate having these conversations because it's like, let's give Ferentz one more offseason. But I'm telling you right now, next year, we're same situation. I'm done. I'm over it. New guy. Right now, I'm still saying, and I keep saying that, like, I don't
We
want
got to give him the
Barry,
benefit of the doubt.
Benefit of the doubt.
Sure.
But yeah,
let him have a chance to correct what he doubled down on, and I think it's very much proven out to be the wrong decision.
Yeah. But yeah,
let's see.
Give him that chance.
I'm just gonna say though, yeah, you're right. If there's no changes going in the season, well, the offense is going to be the same, and it's going to be a lot worse probably because probably going to be guys transferred out, yada yada yada, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm out as well.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, that will do it.
Real positive podcast again, Collin.
Yep,
Man,
let's go.
Hawks, man.
Yep. So we'll be back again, maybe Sunday, but if not, I mean, if it's another bad game, we might just wait again until Wednesday. Who knows? But we'll be back again here at least in next week. So let's hopefully watch a good game, and let's hope that we.
Like I said, I think we're both in agreement, right? We want to see Padilla a full game, and let us fans see what the coaching staff sees, right? Let's let it play out. If he's that bad, let's watch it. Let's watch it for a full game and give him the chance against Northwestern. That's all. I think that's all we're kind of asking as Iowa fans right now. So, on
the positive note, we got Iowa basketball starting up next Monday night. Expedition game. Now it's Expedition. It's on Big Ten Plus, which sucks. I'm still debating. I'm like, God, do I just fork up? It's like $9 for a month. It's like, do I just do that? But
who do we got?
I don't even know. It's some really shit team, Expedition. But then we play our first game of the season is the following Monday, so like 2 weeks from now, and that's on ESPNU. So I'm gonna end on the positive note because we at least have Iowa basketball, and I really do think we should have a decent year this year. And so I'm getting excited for that. I don't want football season to be over with, but I'm ready for Iowa basketball. So I'm still want football season, but it's gonna be nice to have maybe some just kind of a breath of fresh air with actually watching a decent offense. It's so weird how basketball we have a shit defense, good offense, football shit offense, good defense. So but yeah, we'll end it with that. We'll be back again here next probably week, either Sunday or Wednesday. Until then, go Hawks and have a good rest of your week.